Hello. Welcome to the Goods. I know that you have been looking at us wearing our Fly Goods podcast gear and wondering where can we get those. Well, guess what? We have the answers for you. We have it here, Teespring. Go to Teespring and you will find all of this glorious merchandising, from t-shirts to mugs to, well, there's other toys, but we can't talk about that now. Go to Teespring, enjoy our memorabilia. And we're back, all flash.
No substance.
So today's top 5 is the top 5 Christmas animation movies.
Yes.
We are now in the time of fa la 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 la.
Or maybe it's January, depending on when I edit this.
That's very true. But you know what? Hey, we dedicated an entire month in October for horror movies, so why not dedicate December to a bunch of great Christmas movies or
I
Christmas-themed movies?
I like Christmas, unlike some people that work on the show.
Exactly. Sorry. Anyway, but you know what? We've done a few. We've done the worst. We've done
we did
the best. Even though we can't find the best, but we did the worst.
We did Christmas horror.
We did Christmas characters.
Yeah, we did Christmas characters.
Yeah. So you know what? Let's go and dive into animation, because around Christmas time is a time, for families and kids and all of that good stuff. So there's a lot of pretty good animation out there. Some that has stemmed for 50 years, maybe even longer than that.
And they still show it.
And guess what? They're just as good today. So Terence, go first.
All right, so we're gonna do some old and some new and stuff like that. Obviously, as he kind of prefaced it with 50-year-old animation, but I think you guys will like my list. So,
all right, number 5.
This, you guys have to be old for this one, and when I say it, nobody's gonna remember it. Maybe Manny might remember it. You look it up. The video's grainy and stuff like that. I mean, it's probably pre-VHS. It's probably like 8mm.
This is beta.
Yeah, there you go. Betamax. Look for it on Betamax.
Number 5.
A claymation Christmas with the California Raisins.
Oh my goodness.
I said that.
That's 80s. That's old school 80s right there.
Way back in the day, because when I saw that as a kid, as a matter of fact, so when you get the Temptations, Rudolph, because they used to do the voices for the California Raisins. So that's where that song took off from, because they did it in a claymation Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah, right? And I love that song. And when I saw that one, because I was big into marketing and commercials.
And this is back in the Detroit days.
This is back in the Detroit days. So as a little kid, it's like they showed that claymation Christmas every year. And that was our Black Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
A dried up raisin.
Yeah, exactly.
Was your Rudolph.
So, but I love that it touches me so much that every year I used to watch that thing. After I left Detroit, I could not find that anywhere, and when I brought it up, people were like, "What the hell are you talking about? Raisins?
I know, what are you
that
talking?
old commercial?
What's Detroit?
That was that too."
Number 4.
All right, so number 4. This is where we get a little bit back onto mainstream stuff. I went with I'm sorry, how do you say this? Mickey's A Christmas Carol.
Very good.
Yeah, so I went that one because they've done other Christmas carols for Disney and stuff like that. But the Mickey one, when they took all of the your standard Disney characters, like your Donald playing the little auditor, Mickey. They even mixed families, like bestiality was well, not bestiality, it was intermingling different beasts and stuff like that with the. But Scrooge McDuck is where we actually really get to meet Scrooge McDuck.
And that's his name.
Yeah,
that's his actual name. So it's perfect casting.
Yeah, so it's really cool. It plays out A Christmas Carol for a little kid. If you watch the older version and stuff, it's very boring. But this is you get the characters that you know and love, and the fact that it still has a little fun and humor in it. But you get the overall gist of what the Christmas Carol was about. And like I said, you get to meet Scrooge McDuck.
All right.
That's why when DuckTales came out, I was like, oh, the dude from A Christmas Carol.
So this is what happens.
This is what happens to him. He still is greedy and grumpy and stuff like that, but it didn't matter in his life.
And he's taking care of the
so present, past, and future.
And he's taking care of the three nephews.
That's how he got better. It was but present, past, and future, they didn't affect him at all. He was like, I'm still gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I'm still gonna be rich.
So secretly, Huey, Dewey, and Louie were really past, present, future.
Maybe. Maybe. I never thought about that.
Number 3!
All right, so we're gonna go back in time a little bit again. So we're gonna go for, as far as like the generational Christmas films, I picked Frosty the Snowman.
And that is a damn good pick.
I love Frosty the Snowman because of the fact that it deals with like mental illness.
Okay.
Because he always forgets what's going on. But no, that's the fun part about it, is that every time he loses the hat, he turns into a regular snowman. But then when they put the hat back on, he becomes Frosty the Snowman. And then it's like, happy birthday! Which it should be on a happy birthday film. But he goes happy birthday and kind of like resets and starts all over again because he's now becoming into existence once again. But it's cool because it's not like, hey, we got to deal with Santa. Well, he does talk about Santa too.
Santa's in it.
Yeah. But it's not really about him. It's about the snowman and him, you know, trying to build up everybody's Christmas spirit. I love this film. I think it's an overrated, as far as that generation of Christmas films. I think it's really underrated.
Okay.
All right. By the way, happy birthday.
Number two.
I went with It's Christmas, Charlie Brown.
I've never seen that.
How have you never seen that film?
I have never seen that.
Or that 30-minute TV show special? One, look, there's so many iconic things from It's Christmas, Charlie Brown. One, with Peanuts in general, the overall theme is always about religion. Mm-hmm. So, one, you feel as a kid that you're learning some stuff about being more spiritual and like the Bible and things like that when you get to Linus and he's always, you know, telling his Christmas, well, in this he tells a Christmas story, something from the Bible. But also it makes you think about like how Christmas is so commercialized and that how it should really be more of a personal like family experience.
Okay.
Also too, the fact that they're decorating a tree in it for the school.
Okay.
And Charlie Brown messes it up. And then he goes and finds another tree and it's this little bitty like dying plant. And he thinks it's something that's special and everybody takes it for granted. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to Christmas, they go and they decorate and it becomes this amazing little tree and stuff like that. So it's heartwarming and it feels like it teaches you so many like social life lessons and like religion and stuff like that. It's a really great film. It's the perfect family film as far as if you're more of a religious family.
And it's karma for Charlie Brown for putting Token on the other side of the table by himself on Thanksgiving.
I saw that.
Horrible!
I saw that. I was like watching the Daily Show and they talked about.
Token needs to be with everybody else.
They showed that on.
Damn you, Charlie Brown!
On Token's birthday.
And that is why Charlie Brown's never kicked the football. And that is why he gets rocks on Halloween.
All right, so
for being mean to Token.
Number one.
All
right, so I almost feel like this was a given, but it's a given for like two different holidays, and it's obviously Nightmare Before Christmas. Right. Look, that movie is so fun, and it's basically a musical, and it celebrates both Halloween and Christmas at the exact same time, but it's such a big thing that people still Halloween dress up as it. It's shown on both holidays. It's like it's part of the.
It's both. It's a multi-seasonal film.
It's a multi-seasonal film. I agree with that. But the film is very, very fun. Even when Jack Skellington is supposed to be the villain before we get to the Oogie Boogie, he's basically the villain at the beginning of the film, and it was like you still kind of feel for him. You're like, yeah, this is kind of cool what he's doing. I love that film. The kids love that film. Everybody else in the world loves that film.
All right, and you know, I always love it when your number one starts my
number five.
My number five.
Why do you do that?
So here we go.
It always discounts my number one. He was like, yeah, I like that movie too. It's my number five.
It's my number five. So guess what? Number five is A Nightmare Before Christmas, and I can't agree with you more. You're absolutely right. It is. It's a movie for both seasons of Halloween and Christmas, but you also got to look at the what Tim Burton did with claymation. Claymation really wasn't, seen that much, with
the California Raisins Christmas special was claymation.
Yeah, very true. But you hadn't really seen claymation too much, especially to that extent. When you get your chicken runs and you get your Wallace and Grommets, but you never get anything like really solid the way this was. And Tim Burton's approach to claymation was flawless. I mean, it was borderline 3D animation.
Yeah, it was.
But it was clay, and it was great, and he did a fantastic job. And then you have the voice talents. You got Chris Sarandon, who played the vampire on Fright Night and the cop on Child's Play. He's actually the voice of Jack Skellington, but the singing voice is actually Danny Elfman, who actually composed a lot of the music in the Tim Burton films. He composed the score for Batman. He did the score for Beetlejuice. You know, so he's very talented.
It's very reminiscent of those, yeah.
Yeah, and he's also the lead singer of Oingo Boingo back in the day. So guess what? Hey, he can throw down when it comes to the vocals, and he did an exceptional job when it comes to the music for Nightmare Before Christmas, which I think actually is the standout, more or less, of the film, aside from the animation itself. But the music was really this. Yes, my son's favorite freaking holiday film of all time. So you know what? It's gonna get a shout out. Number 4 is Frosty the Snowman.
Okay.
Too. Happy birthday! Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Great, nice little voice cast there too, and yeah, very heartwarming, very fun.
Yeah.
When you're growing up to this kind of thing, it's just really, it brings out a real good, solid joy when you're watching something like this because it's so innocent. There's a lot of purity in
Was it the
stuff
same
like this.
person that narrated that? The same person narrated like the Santa Claus is Coming to Town and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
No, that was Burl Ives.
Okay.
But regardless, it was actually, oh my God. What is the gentleman with the big nose?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Jimmy Durante. Jimmy Durant.
That's not.
Yeah, Jimmy Durant.
Okay. That's not what I was thinking of.
Cha-cha-cha-cha. That was him. And Frosty comes down. Yeah, cha-cha. Yeah, man, that was him.
Mickey himself.
Yeah. But it was a really nice movie. You get a lot of little messy, lines for that. So it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thought the rabbit was actually the show. I thought the rabbit was the show in that. But either way, Frosty, number 4. Number 3. And when you're looking at the 2000 live action version with Jim Carrey, it's really hard to replicate that. But I gotta give it to Benedict Cumberbatch because my number 3 is The Grinch.
The remake.
The animated remake that came out either last year or a couple years ago.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And it was actually pretty damn good.
I did not watch it because I'm thinking like, how can they do better than the original Dr. Seuss Grinch animation from the 80s?
You're right. The original Dr. Seuss, which actually will be in my honorable mentions, but the original Dr. Seuss had voice talents of Boris Karloff. He actually narrated. Exactly. And then that song itself, I mean, it's iconic, plays to this day. So, what he did with that film, with that short was great. But Benedict Cumberbatch took a little bit of Karloff, a little bit of Jim Carrey, a little bit, made it its own still, and threw it out there. And I thought the animation was crisp. It was really freaking good.
It looked really good in the trailer. I
didn't give
it a chance.
I liked it a lot. And hey, you never can go wrong with Kenan Thompson. Kenan Thompson's in there. We got all that. Good Burger himself in there. So
Saturday Night Live, long time alum.
Exactly. So Grinch, number 3. That's for you, son.
Number 2.
Number 2. Agree 100% with you. Mickey's Christmas Carol is absolutely fantastic. Now, when you're in high school or school period, and you're around that time, and you know this, when you're getting you're approaching those the holidays, and you're about to go on Christmas break. Guess what? Ain't no work happening. It's holiday movies happening. Right. So guess what? I had to watch. I had to watch stuff like the Canterbury Tales or whatever, the Canterbury Ghosts.
The rabbits?
No, that was before in Halloween. But I'm talking about when we get to Christmas, it was always a Christmas Carol, and it was always the one with freaking Gregory Peck. Good movie, but very dark and very boring.
Yes, very boring.
So guess what? Christmas Carol, Mickey's Christmas Carol actually brought a little bit more light to it, and I thought that it was freaking great. And the fact that Scrooge McDuck, whose real name is Scrooge McDuck, was perfect casting. But then you throw some favorites in there, and you got Goofy playing one of the ghosts, and you got freaking Donald Duck in there, like you said.
Yeah.
And Mickey's in there, obviously. His kid is Tiny Tim. I mean, you cannot go wrong with this movie. It's really good. It does have some dark elements. Christmas Carol already does. Dickens was like all over the place when it comes to that. But the balance that Disney put in for this particular one was great. So that was my number 2. Number 1 will always be Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Look, I rewatched Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer 2 weeks ago. That's not a good movie. It's not a good movie.
Now,
I literally, because I was showing the kids, I was like, hey, have y'all seen Rudolph? And they were like, I can't remember it. So we sat and watched it. I was like, It's edited like really weird. It like jumps, and it's just, the dialogue's horrible. There's a lot of things.
She thinks I'm cute.
There's a lot of things. It's just so bad. It's so bad. And it made it drop, so that's why it's not on my list. It made it drop so bad when I watched it. I was like, how did I even like this?
This was my favorite. This was my favorite holiday movie growing up, and obviously I'm in my 40s now. So back then it was like a freaking monumental event that I had to watch this movie every year. And to this day, I don't care. I will still watch it, and my son loves it. But you look at and we talk about the stop motion animation with clay and all of that stuff, and what they did with that. For it coming out in the 1960s, I mean, it was pretty freaking innovative, for it to come out for its time. But then you do have Bro Lives, and you have the Holly Jolly Christmas song. You have
It had great songs. It had great songs.
It had great songs. You got Cornelius, freaking silver and gold. You got some pretty good stuff in there. So
Just bad dialogue.
It was bad dialogue. I agree with you. And first of all, there's no way in hell if my son had a red nose, I'm gonna hide the red nose. Like, bitch, you talking about my son? You don't make that team. I don't care what you say. You discriminating
You play my son.
You're playing my son. Yeah, they ain't gonna cover his nose. All right. Anyway, so Rudolph, number one. Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. I actually did put Rudolph as an honorable mention, even though it dropped. It was like so high up for me. Like when I was originally writing the list, I was like Rudolph, yeah, definitely. And then because I wrote this list a couple of weeks ago, somebody wasn't here. So I watched it again. I was like, it's coming out. The other ones, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Which kind of follows that. I feel like that's a trilogy with Rudolph, Santa Claus, and Frosty. I almost feel like they were all kind of made to go together.
Rudolph's Shiny New Year with the kid with the big ears.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I love that one.
That one's there.
Baby New Year.
That's right. I also put the Polar Express. Polar Express is a cool little movie. The technology they did with the Polar Express, as far as like doing like and transporting into the animation, so that way like everything looks so realistic in animation. That was one of my honorable mentions. Dr. Seuss Grinch is
the original
one. So that one, because we're still talking about animation, and I know that Jim Carrey's is also called Dr. Seuss, but that one was one of my favorite ones, and surprisingly, Claymation Christmas beat it.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
Those are my honorable mentions.
All right, my honorable mention starts with also the Polar Express, Charlie Brown Christmas, Claus. That was actually some pretty damn good 2D animation on that.
I've never seen it. I'm not even aware.
It's on Netflix actually. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really good 2D animation. It's very rare that you see it nowadays because everything's all 3D, animation. But this 2D animation was really good on that. Very crisp on that too. I like that one a lot. The Star, which is pretty much it's a take on the Three Kings, but in the eyes of the animals and the donkeys and all that were around the Three Wise Men. That really good cast. You gotta check that one out. Polar Express was groundbreaking in its animation and what it did, showing Tom Hanks, casting Tom Hanks, and actually putting Tom Hanks as an animated character. I love that. Okay, so this one, and we talked about the darkness of Dickens' Christmas Carol, and nothing really personifies that as much as Disney's Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey. Have you ever seen this?
Okay, that is the one they did animated, right? When he played Scrooge, right? That's right.
It is both depressing and fantastic at the same time. Like, you watch it and it is dark, it can drag, it's a little slow at times, but when you're looking at the animation, you just cannot, you're like in awe, because the same type of animation that they did for Tom Hanks in Polar Express, they do for Jim Carrey in this. And you can just see Carrey's face, his mannerisms, everything about it, and it's just amazing animation. But the story is a little slow, like I said, and it is
Christmas Carol is a boring story.
It is very similar to that old not Gregory Peck, I've been saying, oh my God, George Lee Scott, I think that's his name.
There you go.
Anyway, but that one, like, damn, I'm putting to sleep here. But it's a lot like that. So you got to check it out. It's
Okay.
worth a look.
Well, I got a bunch
for the
of movies-
animation alone. It's
I got a
worth
bunch
a
of
look.
movies I gotta watch for Christmas anyway, so.
Take it home.
All right, so hey, if you guys are big fans of Christmas films, make sure you put your top 5 animation films in the comments below, or just top 5 animation. Doesn't have to be a specific film, or we consider film in this particular genre to be 30 minutes at least, right? No 15-minute segments, I guess. Also, too, if this is the first time that you're on the channel, please subscribe as well as click the notification button so that way you're aware of all the other videos that we do on the channel. And if you want to help us get any bigger, we still have t-shirts as far as, I mean, not this t-shirt because this is an original right here. But we have other t-shirts that we do on Teespring. You'll see the link below. Also, too, it'll probably pop up on screen. There
it is.
Make sure you go check it out. We've added some new shirts and some new other products like face masks and face masks and mugs and stuff to the merch store. So please go pick one up and help us get better.
For Aspen and Art, wherever the hell they're at, and Carl over here doing nothing, I'm Manny.
I'm Terrence.
And we'll see you next time.
Real quick, if you're still here, because we do these into the video little blooper things. If you're still here, look down. There's a link here for Patreon. If you guys like the show, please give us money. Give us money. We'll take a penny. We'll take a nickel. We'll take a dime. We'll take $1. We have some stuff on there that we're giving away on Patreon if you do contribute, because trust me, we need help. We need help. We want to buy new equipment, and we need an editor. Somebody who doesn't have to stay up in the middle of the night, or they don't have to stay up in the middle, but I won't have to do it. So please, down patreon.com/thegoods. It's in the link. Please do it. We appreciate it.